Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is Blessing here, Farfromacurse. I say that with every intro. I really need to come up with something better than that. Okay, so anyways, so this is story time. The purpose of this story time is to just share a time when I disobeyed God. A lot of you guys actually voted for this story time when I posted it on my Instagram page. Right here or right here, whichever side I put it on for you to follow. So let's dig right into it. The time I disobeyed God, this was around 2016. It was July 2016. I said it was an anniversary of the time I disobeyed God. So let me just give you the background. I was just getting out of a relationship around the time. Well, it was like 6 months into getting out of the relationship. And me and my ex, we were like, we want to try to be friends and stuff. Guys, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't be friends. It doesn't work. We kind of are cool, but we're not friends. But anyways, in 2016, he went to this training. It was like a military training. So mind you, I was really proud of him for, attending this training. And he actually invited me. He kind of just invited me to come to go to his graduation. So I was really excited about that because I really enjoy graduations. I love celebrating my friends. I love being there for them when they accomplish certain things. So his mother was really excited too. She was pressuring me to get my ticket, and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna get my ticket. I got my money on deck. And at the time, I really had to think about it because I wasn't guarding my heart. I actually was like, you know what, we broke up, but here we could still do all the things we used to do like we were together, basically. I knew for me that I needed to pray about it. Now, sometimes you always ask yourself, like, maybe I need to pray about this, or maybe I need to ask somebody about this. So I knew I didn't want to ask anybody because a lot of my friends kind of were like tired of me talking about him. So I decided to pray, and I was asking God. I said, God, do you want me to go and celebrate with him? Because this is a good thing, right? Like, going to be there for somebody that is graduating, someone that's my friend, and I'm telling you, I know God told me not to. It is funny because it's not like I talked to a friend and then my friend told me that, and it's not like deep down I didn't want to go. Deep down I wanted to go. I wanted to go with all of my heart, but I know God was telling me not to go. I know he was, and I kind of was like, nah, like, God's not gonna tell me not to go. God's not gonna tell me not to go. So I was like, okay, you know what, God, you told me not to go, but he still asked me to go. And, I kind of was like, I'm gonna still go. So his mom, me and his mom bought the ticket. We were excited, like, oh, we going to Texas. Anyway, fast forward. So the day of the graduation was on a Thursday. It was a Wednesday. On a Wednesday, his aunt texted his mom and said, hey, who are you guys flying with again? And then she was like, oh, we're flying with Southwest. She was like, are you serious? She said, I just saw on the news that Southwest, all of their airlines went down. All of their computer systems all around the nation. And that was on Wednesday. So I'm sitting here like, his mom ended up calling me, and she was just like, oh my God, did you know that Southwest Airlines, all their flights went down, and this is the first time it's really happened like this, where it's like multiple flights are down. And I was like, no way. I was like, are you serious? In the back of my mind, I'm like, bruh, God told you not to go. God told you not to go. But you know what? I'm still gonna go. So his mom was like, you know what? We're still gonna try to see if we could get on the flight. I was like, yeah. We're still gonna try to see if we can get on the flight. So in the back of my mind, like, Okay, I know God told me not to go, but I'm still gonna go. So on Thursday morning, we roll up to the airport, and like, you know, things seem like they're going normal until you get to the terminals and you start seeing like a lot of people from Southwest flights aren't like leaving. We sat there, our flight was like, let's say at 9 o'clock. And we got there, you know, like at 7. And we waited all the way until 9:15. They said our flight was delayed. Then 9:15 turned to 10:15. 10:15 turned to 11:15. And then like at 11:45, they said the flight to Texas is canceled, or, you know, whatever they say. And the crew or whatever, they didn't make it to Atlanta. So it was just so funny because at the time, a lot of other flights were leaving for Southwest. It was ironic. So we were sitting there waiting for our flight, and a lot of other flights were leaving, and our flight was still delayed. And then our flight ended up being canceled. So as soon as they said our flight was canceled, his mom was like hysterical. She was really sad because, you know, she wanted to go see her son graduate and stuff. So I kind of was like, like, so, you know, in the back of my mind, I'm like, yo, this is my fault. Like, this is my fault. You could go see your son right now, but it's my fault. Like, because I know God told me not to go on this flight. This reminded me of the story of Jonah. Now, I don't know if you guys know the story of Jonah, but I reminded myself of Jonah. Jonah, he was tasked to go to Nineveh, but he decided, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to go to the other side of town. So whenever he decided to go to the other side of town, he was on this boat, on this voyage, and a huge storm occurred. So when the huge storm happened, Jonah was knocked out sleeping, and he was acting like, you know, nothing happened. Like, you know, he was just chilling. He was just like, yo, like, you know, I'm about to go to sleep because I'm not supposed to even be here, but it is what it is. I'm here now. So whenever the storm came past, the people on the boat was like, why is this storm happening? So they were like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? And then Jonah ended up saying, oh, guys, you know what? It's me. It's me. Just throw me off the boat. And you know what? At that moment, I felt very sad. I felt sad because I knew I disobeyed God. And I knew that I was going against everything he told me not to do. And there was a reason why he didn't want me to go to Texas and celebrate with somebody who was no longer supposed to be in my life. And at the time, I didn't realize that. All I knew was what was, and I wasn't trying to move forward in life. Long story short, because I could go on and on forever, I immediately called my, my spiritual guide at the time. And I told her, I said, hey, something's going on and I need you to help me. And she was just like, okay, so what's going on? And I told her the situation. And she said, wow, okay, so you went there because you wanted to and you know God told you not to. And I was like, yeah. She said, okay, first of all, I want you to understand that all of the planes, you know, basically going down, all the computer systems going down, some of the planes picking back up their flights, everything that's happening is not because of you. She said, blessing, you are not that powerful. You are not that powerful to mess up God's plan for your life. If you didn't obey God, of course you're going to get the consequences and you're going to realize who God is. But you're not that powerful to mess up God's plan for your life. And at that moment, I was set free because I started to feel very sad. I started to feel very disgusted with my actions, that I was really putting other people before God. I was putting other people's opinions before God. I was putting this trip before God. And it really just came crashing down on me. So my spiritual guide, she told me, she said, hey, so Bless, if they tell you that you can get another flight, will you get on it? And then I sat there and said, I don't want to. I mean, I would really want to, but I'm not going to. And she said, okay. Okay, cool. She said, don't, because God already told you not to. And I was like, okay, okay. Of course, you know, the flight attendants, they came, they said, hey, we're able to get some people on some flights. And his mother was like, bless, we could get on another flight. And I kind of was just like, I had to tell her no. And when I told her no, I felt really, really bad. And she said, Bless, like, we're supposed to travel together and stuff. And I was just like, I can't, because I don't think God wanted me to come on this flight. And then she was like, what? God told you not to come on this flight? Then why'd you come on this flight? And I was like, oh my God, why did I say that? She's like, Bless, why didn't you listen to God? Why did you listen to God? And I was just like, yo, why did I just do that? Like, now I have her mad at me, God mad at me, I'm mad at me, my spiritual God mad at me. Like, what am I doing? Like, no. And at that moment, I learned you don't need to tell everybody everything. Like, no is no, yes is yes, okay? Like, you don't need to explain everything to everybody. She called her son was like, hey, like, you know what? Just forget it, because by the time you get on the other flight, it's gonna take you forever to get here, and then the graduation is gonna be done, and then it's gonna be time for you to go home. So just forget it. So she was really sad. She was like, okay, you know what? Cool. But in the back of her mind, she's like, God told you not to get on this flight. I should have been on that flight. And I'm like, whew. So she was kind of mad at me on our way home, and I couldn't say anything. And it's so weird about how the peace of God works, because I kind of was not really like worried. Like, I kind of was like really peaceful, even though I know God told me not to do it in that crazy situation. So you know when God's talking to you. Trust me, you know when God's talking to you. So whenever we got home, I was really, really sad. The parts about the breakup was settling in again. And I kind of really wanted to be there, but I know God told me not to go there. And I kind of I was like trying to remember this scripture. I was trying to remember this scripture, my favorite scripture. I could not find it. I couldn't remember the verse. All I could remember was, he will never leave me or forsake me. He will never leave me or forsake me. And I was like trying to look up the scripture, and I was like crying, and I was like, God, okay, you know what? Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I'm so sorry for disobeying you at this time. Please forgive me. Like, I know you'll never leave me or forsake me, but I couldn't find the scripture. I was like Googling, and I couldn't find it for some reason. It's weird. I know, it's weird. But I ended up falling asleep, falling asleep. And I woke up the next morning, and guess what the main scripture was? Hebrews 13:5. He will never leave me nor forsake me. And that was the exact scripture I was looking for the next morning in my devotion. When I tell you that whole span of like 3-4 days, God really was like coming after me, and I was running, and then he stopped me, and then I looked at him, and I was like, I hear you. I hear you. And at that moment, that was the last time, and that will be the last time, hopefully, that I jump when another person wants me to jump, or when my emotions are trying to make me jump into certain situations. Like, I know when God's talking to me. I know when God's trying to tell me something. And I'm human. I'm gonna mess up sometimes. But one thing I do know is, the top things that I've learned from this situation is, my mistakes will not derail God's plan for me. He will never leave me nor forsake me. And listen to him when he's speaking. So anyways, that was the story time about when I disobeyed God. If you have a situation where you disobeyed God and you know God was telling you to do something, just share in the comments below. And I don't know, just, try to connect with me on Facebook or Instagram or my blog page. And I will see you guys later.